What's up, guys? Nolan here with a bit of a weird one today, as I had a big video ready, then BSG made a post pretty much confirming everything that I had talked about, and then something else got either messed up or leaked on the cache site, so there's just a lot to talk about. I'm going to leave that possible leak until the end of the video with proper warning so that you guys that want to skip it can. But in terms of current information, this is what we got for now. The cache site switched over to this picture not too long ago, pretty much telling us word for word that everything will go back to normal once Lightkeeper gets what he wants. So yes, it's now a fact that we need to hit the total number, which we found out was 1.5 trillion rubles, that Lightkeeper wants. BSG have even made changes today to help us accomplish that task. Fence is paying a lot more for stuff, and it's possible that if we spend money with him, he is also contributing to the 1.5 trillion. There's also been significant buffs to cash and valuable spawns. If you farm cash registers and safes right now, you will be loaded every raid, hundreds of thousands of rubles every single raid. In order to contribute to Lightkeeper, you can throw money in the Scav case in the hideout or drop items at a marked circle. Personally, it's much easier to find a friend that has a Scav case and have them do it for you if you trust them. There was a 600 and a few other new numbers on this post, which likely means something, but we won't really be able to tell until we get more information, probably another post. Sunday, May 1st makes sense as a big day because it's 5 days from all of this starting, which Nikita had alluded to initially about removing the traders or the flea for 5 days, and for some reason, it's on this paper. So really, TLDR for all of this is just pay Lightkeeper as much as you possibly can so that we can move on to this next part of the event. After I say this, there will very likely be people going around and scooping that stuff up on top of the clueless people that have no idea what's going on, just raiding normally, so make sure that that stuff goes through if you end up doing the circle stuff. Honestly, it's much easier to just get stuff to your friends that have a Scav case. If you are thinking that's too much money or will never get there, then take a look at the end wipe stats BSG shared a few months ago at the end of the last wipe. There was over 475 trillion rubles being circulated at that time when the game wiped. The wipe was a little under 6 months long, and we are now over 4 months through this one where there was much higher player numbers due to all the new stuff. So BSG must have that number in front of them. So without having it in front of me, I would say we have to at least be at the 200 trillion mark right now. And just for shits and gigs, we can cut that in half for active players that feel like taking part. Generally speaking, that's still almost 100 times more than what BSG are asking for. Even if the money didn't come back around from being sucked up into barters or items that were lost and never recovered, it's still hundreds of times more than BSG are asking for this event. Even if that big number means nothing and this 1.5 trillion ends up being most of our current stash values combined, this event is still really meant to mean something, and like I've mentioned before, it could be a means to reset the economy so that we can test the new stuff without a wipe. Whatever way you want to add it up, it's extremely likely the community has plenty to contribute, but we just aren't, so we need to get the word out that if you want the game to go back to normal, and at this rate probably update, then pay what you can and let's hit that goal. If you're thinking that's stupid, or maybe you don't have a whole lot to contribute, then fine, don't do it. And that's where we get into the larger discussion here with what is happening. You do not need a tinfoil hat and crack to believe that this is a global event. It even says it on the website that's counting this. Nikita has talked about these events a lot as being big, important events that the community will have to work together to achieve, with some other examples that he's given in the past being USEC doing one thing or Bears doing another, or having them compete against each other for a specific thing. This one just happens to be the entire community working together, which again makes sense because this is a new trader that we will all have access to. Then we have Nikita constantly saying for years now that they want to get each update more involved with lore. He wants there to be a meaning to each update. He wanted to stop the updates and wipes where just one day you would magically wake up with nothing again. In this case, we have that full story right in front of us. This new trader, Lightkeeper, isn't screwing around and likely runs the cult at this point because he is powerful enough to threaten all of the other traders, except for Fence, where they will shut down shop until he gets what he wants. So technically, the Sons of Soon are already right. That new trader that we were talking about is already in the game, because how else would he have just gotten all of the other traders to do what he wants, and now all of us are paying the price to get them back? How are you going to say something isn't in the game when it affects so much of the current game already? Also, it just happened to happen on the day that we thought it would. Now what comes next is either the next step to meeting the guy ourselves or a clue to the next step to achieve that goal. And what's funny about this is that there are so many people that either don't know what's going on, don't know what they should do, or don't believe that they're not helping contribute and it's taking much longer than it should. So it's clear BSG are doing this for a reason, and that reason is to spice things up with the new updates. If we want the new update, then we need to hit that goal, and we know as a community we can easily hit it. It's either that or we wait to see what happens when we don't, or maybe the ticker will just eventually get there in several days because of the mark circle stuff on top of people incrementally adding to it. But it is totally possible that something bad happens if we don't pay up ahead of time. Personally, I think Nikita tweeting this earlier is him actually scratching his head at the lack of people giving money, because it is pretty obvious at this point. Let me know what you think in the comments. Super quick, we're going to put the tinfoil hat on and smoke smoke some crack so that I could add the possibility of something to the conversation. Part of the options for global tasks was USEC working against Bear and vice versa, so it is possible that at the end of this, with the new trader, they are going to know what faction ended up paying more than the other and end up giving them a better deal or get some kind of gift to them or something. Or maybe at least not treating them as badly as the other one. Just a quick tinfoil hat thing there because those global events were meant to pit people against each other. Alright, tinfoil hat is back off. The next thing that I wanted to talk about was the room number theory. We knew from the beginning that this could just be a room number and that if it is a room number, then it's important and that it's likely on Streets of Tarkov. Hell, that's exactly where all the Sons of Soon stuff came from because I thought this could be a tease for Streets, but if nothing ended up coming from this event, then we have proof that that's true and we needed to now be looking for a 4-story building with a crane or scaffolding down the street when Streets comes out, because once we figure that out, we were going to figure out what's going on with this door. Only reason I say if nothing ends up coming from this event is because we still don't know what's going to happen with the event. And it did end up starting on the 28th, or at least BSG thought that we would have the money in by the 28th, so even if nothing ends up happening today, it still could have meant the start of something. Again, honestly, it's possible BSG thought we would blow right through the 1.5 trillion and beyond to something new by now, which could have been the upload of that patch so that we could actually meet the Lightkeeper or at least start the quests involved with meeting him. Okay, now this is the part where this might be a real leak and might spoil the event for some people a day or two early. I'll be a bit clear about how this information came up so that you can decide whether you think it might be a spoiler or not. On the cash site that's counting how much we're paying to Lightkeeper, a new post showed up today and it's still there right now. However, the post that's up there right now, right before that one went up, there was one that stuck there for a little while. We don't know if it was a few seconds or a few minutes, but some people were able to grab that and screenshot what that post was on the cash site, and it was in Russian, so we translated what that was, and that is what we are about to talk about. If you think that that is going to spoil some things for you, then don't listen to what I'm about to say. I'm warning you guys right now, if you're having fun rolling with the story of what's happening, then click off now. I left some timestamps in the comments as well. All right, last chance, this might be a spoiler, so 3, 2, 1. Okay, so this picture showed up on the cache site briefly and people grabbed a shot of it, or at least that's what I was told. I did not see it there myself. Either way, it is definitely not there right now. I also, just for shits and gigs, decided to ask BSG if this was meant to show up or not, and they didn't reply, so screw it, I'm gonna tell you guys. We ended up getting it translated, and it talks about 2 traders having a quarrel and that someone is for sure going to be killed. Then it talks about a dead trader having loads of money near him. Then it talks about working together with whoever is writing this letter to go raid the storerooms of the true traders who are fighting, and to be careful not to be mistaken for an errand boy of a trader. So it seems like 2 people are sneaking around trying to rob somebody while they're fighting with somebody else, and those people who are fighting seem to be traders. Obviously can't forget about the part where it mentioned that a trader is already dead. I can't think of any references to a dead scav that's currently in the game that was previously a trader or something like that. If you guys can think of something, let me know in the comments, because maybe they're referring to that location. Otherwise, we're looking at a dead trader and possibly even a second one whenever this event is supposed to happen. The second part of this picture is sort of broken up into segments. First it says, we need to get out of here. Then it says, didn't come to an agreement. Heads will roll. Then it says, fuck the money. Then it says, I want to live. Then, are you with me? And then finally it says, I will be waiting tomorrow at 6 a.m. near the hole in the wall at the checkpoint. This seems like a direct reference to why there was a 600 in the last post, but maybe it's not connected. It does seem like it is connected though. So some big shit is going on with some traders, and one might have even been killed. These guys who are communicating are also talking about meeting at a hole in a wall at a checkpoint at 6 a.m. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that sounds like some stuff that could happen in game. The next thing that we need to figure out is what checkpoint, and again, I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to be checking the one at Lighthouse first. If that doesn't end up working out, I'll probably head over to Reserve and then maybe Woods from that point. But either way, we got to find a checkpoint with a hole near it. This could have been a mistake where this will pop up on the cache site later, or we were meant to find it like this, in which case I'll be checking the checkpoints at 6 a.m. Moscow time or 6 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. If the traders that they're talking about are the traders that we know now, then one of them is apparently going to die, while another one might already be dead. And that is by the time this letter should be posted. Anyway, that's everything that I have for now. This event is still very much still active, so remember to try and get your friends to go along with you and pay as much as you can to Lightkeeper so that we can keep this going. And as always, I will of course let you guys know more once I do. Until then though, for the latest Tarkov news, check out these playlists here. If you like this video, then you know the drill. Please subscribe. I really appreciate the people who do. If you are looking for people to play with, check out our Discord. Links in the description if you're interested. Otherwise, I hope you have a nice day. See you guys.